Since 1961, Quartz Plumbing has offered friendly, reliable service to residences all over Bergen County, New Jersey. We are a fourth-generation family-owned business, unmatched in customer satisfaction and professionalism while working in your home. We are the hydronic heating and water filtration specialists, with a workmanship guarantee to put you at ease so you can rest comfortably. We offer financing for those big projects that catch you off guard, and we have a network of excellent contractors in all fields for any project you wish to tackle. Call our responsive office team, and we'll dispatch a handsome and educated technician to lay the smackdown on all your plumbing issues. You can also find us at quartzplumbing.com, search us on Google, or follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube.
Like, subscribe, and share, please.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. Ready? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Plum Bums Podcast, the small business. Start again.
2-3 times usually takes.
Tongue twist the intro.
Red leather, yellow leather.
Ready?
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Plum Bums Podcast, the small business and entrepreneur. What is the intro?
Don't worry.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Wait.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Plum Bums Podcast.
The Everyman's Podcast.
The Everyman's Podcast. The blue collar. Okay, got it. The blue collar. Everyman's Podcast. Blue collar.
Ron Burgundy.
I'm Ron Burgundy.
I am Ron Burgundy. Okay, ready? Ladies and gentlemen.
That was awful. By the way, you know what you're doing? You're making me nervous. This is now the fourth time this.
We don't interview women.
Oh,
often.
really?
Yeah. Plus, it's a mess in here. Okay, ready?
Honestly, the vibes are good. The vibes are great.
You hear that, folks? We got good vibes.
Yeah.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Plum Bums Podcast, the Everyman's Podcast, the blue collar tradesman show where we talk about small business and entrepreneurship in this modern era, this crazy modern era. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, why are you looking at me to
Because you're wearing that crazy
piggyback off of that comment?
You're wearing that crazy button down.
You don't like it? You always criticize my attire on this podcast. You didn't.
No, in general.
You didn't.
Not just the
true.
podcast.
Yeah. Well, who cares?
What I tell you last night to burn those jeans you were wearing?
Yeah.
You're
He
like,
texts me in the middle of class. I come in with a pair of jeans, boots, and a shirt, a button-down shirt, and he just goes. He texts me. I see it, and he goes, "Burn those jeans." I'm like, "Oh, they're just regular jeans."
I really like the shirt.
I actually like the shirt.
Vibes.
Okay,
Vibes,
good
right?
vibes. That's where the vibes are coming
It fits
from.
the vibes.
By the way, folks, this is Nahomi Enrico, our guest for this week. We're going to get into a little bit of what Nahomi does. But first, since it's 2024, welcome to the new year, everybody.
Hooray.
Hooray.
Are you gonna ask me what
Should
I
all
did?
acquaintance be forgot? Playa.
Nice.
2024, folks. Can you believe it? We're almost a quarter of a century through the first millennium. Did I say that right? Quarter of a century through
I was
the
going
first
to rock
millennium.
with you on that math. I was like, whatever you just said, I was like, that's right.
Sounds
That's
right.
Yeah,
Makes
sounds
sense.
about right.
Okay, well, yeah. I mean, let's
Quarter
see.
of a
I did the
century
math. I
sounds
remember
cool.
sitting in middle school doing the math, like wondering, like around what year I was gonna like kick the bucket. You know what I mean? So like when I'm like 10 or 11, I'm like, wow, I'm gonna like probably be like dead in 2060.
I can never.
2060.
What I thought was more that by this time we'd be flying, like just like hovering around.
I know.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Just
Like that's always
floating
what,
around
yeah.
to-
We would
to
be
work.
the Jetsons. That's what I always expected that we
Never.
would be. Yeah.
It's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
You know why? Because
Because of the regulations on businesses.
That's what I was gonna shout out. I was gonna. 'cause
they're regulating
they-
those hoverboards.
Yeah.
So I actually want to talk about a couple things coming up to small business, and I think we're going to try to introduce this to the show where we dip into current events of small business and not just yammer on how hard our lives are. So I mean, what do you think of that? You want to talk about some articles when we?
No, I like talking about how hard my life is. It's it's therapeutic.
Venting is fun.
Yeah.
We do that all day long, just bitch and moan about how hard our
We
lives
came
are.
from one of the worst jobs today, one of the worst jobs ever today, and immediately in the truck, the second the doors closed, the two of us are like laughing and joking around
so
and messing with
stupid.
each other. It's like the second the day the job is done, we're back to normal people.
That's awesome.
We're currently stuck in a job that will not die.
And he
It
wants
just
to talk
won't.
about a specific company, right? And do you want to do that, or you don't want to do that?
Specific company?
A specific company at the last job that we were just at. You said I'm going to talk about it on the podcast.
No.
I don't care.
No. I'll think about it.
All right.
I'll think about it. I already bashed them in my Instagram story today, and I tagged them too.
Ooh.
Yeah. They're like a multi-billion-dollar
A
company.
major company. Yeah.
Like, what do they care about some schmuck plumber that's not happy with the way their valve body goes in the wall? Minion. All right, so check this out. 2024, details emerge on the SBA, new Small Business Lending Advisory Committee. Entrepreneurs get to have a seat at the table. So I guess there's a new council being formed, which, I don't know, take it or leave it, whatever but it's supposed to give a voice to small businesses, specifically at Washington. And I don't know how much of
So it's a
one
federal thing,
exists.
it's not
I think
state?
it's a federal thing. They had the Small Business Lending Summit at the White House. They invited big-time lenders,
With this administration?
J.P. Morgan, Wells Fargo. Okay, well, maybe it's not geared
Wells
to small
Fargo.
business. Yeah.
No, well, those are the ones who give loans to small businesses.
There's always something shady with it. Like, anyway, so we're allegedly supposed to get a seat at the table to talk about how regulation affects us. I don't know what we have in place now. Is there anyone like saying anything like small business?
well, the company that we interviewed out in PA.
very, very
There's-
grassroots.
There's small companies that's how it has to start. It's got to start grassroots. You have to have
I'm going to
small
say
companies.
something. We can't. Yeah, you just have to start shopping small business.
You have to start shopping small.
The people have to do it.
You have
Yeah.
to start shopping small business. You. Everybody likes to complain.
I feel like your
Everyone-
tone is very pointed
It
right
is.
now.
It's pointed. You know why? Because
I just hate them all.
we do the podcast. you do. You
just
really
hate
do
it.
hate.
I hate shopping.
Shopping and all that stuff. That's why you shop with Amazon. And I
even
get
order
it.
my groceries online.
Yeah,
Ooh.
it's convenient.
That's the epitome
But
of lazy.
everybody likes to complain about, small businesses dying and the big businesses are taking over, and nobody really does anything. Who makes the change? It's the consumer who makes the change, right?
It is true.
You might have to pay a little bit more for I try to buy only made in the USA.
In 2024, I confess my Amazon sins. How about that?
Sure, good.
My
For
Amazon
repentance.
sins.
But I try to buy only made in USA. And we've been trying to do that too, but I try to buy only made in the USA, and I know that it says made in USA coming from global components, but you have to make the change of at least trying to seek
You got to
out.
put in the effort.
You have to put in the effort, You
Everyone-
buy less things, because you don't need so many things. Everybody thinks they need everything.
We
you
can't
know?
leave it to committees to go to the White House with J.P. Morgan and
Exactly.
Mr. Wells Fargo.
Yeah.
Miss Wells Fargo over there.
My family knows that don't buy me something that says like made in China. Don't buy me something that says made in, made in countries where their workers get paid like
So they just
$6 a
don't-
day.
So they just don't buy him anything anymore.
I was about to say. I was like,
So they just
I
for
was
Christmas
like,
he just like
especially with the way
they're
things
like, yeah,
are
you don't have to
going,
come
yeah.
down, just go to sleep.
yeah,
You're like,
just go to sleep. Yeah,
you could buy things like my shoes. These shoes are made in the USA. New Balance makes things in the United States. They're a big company. They have a whole section of that.
Okay, so we got shoes. That Duke Cannon soap that I start buying, which is the best soap, by the way.
Yeah.
That thing lasts forever.
Yeah.
And they have manly scents like gunmetal. And
Ooh,
Yeah.
what does that smell like?
I don't know. It's up there. I'll
Just,
let
all
you
right,
smell
I'll
it.
take a whiff.
What is gunmetal?
That
know.
sounds like very metallic.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Here's another one we got from New York. So New York is going to spill over into Jersey eventually. New York, what small businesses need to know about the new regulations going into 2024? You guys are going to love this stuff. So check this. Obviously, and this author does small business justice. He goes, for a small business, you have higher costs for employee when it comes to complying with every new regulation than your larger business competitors. So right off the bat, any regulation is going to affect small business the most because the cost is inflated to us. It's harder for we don't have a staff to send around to take care of all the extra paperwork and everything that's going to go through, getting approvals and all that stuff. So every new regulation, and there's just more and more regulation, is always going to affect the little guy first. That's why you have to shop little guy.
Yeah. Well, that's crazy about New York because I feel like New York has a ton of small businesses.
They do, but
Especially
they
New
get
York City.
pummeled.
Yeah.
They still get pummeled. Like, listen, we get pummeled
Yeah.
constantly all the time, especially since COVID with like the increase in insurance rates and material. Larger companies can compensate for that because they have the ability to make cuts. We don't. Like, we're just a small-time operation. We don't have the ability to chameleonize and make cuts like these, You're making cuts like it seriously affects you.
Yeah.
Let's see what else to go. Oh, so he's got small business will need to register. Okay, so here's something. Small businesses in New York, not New Jersey yet, but in New York, small businesses will need to register with the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, whatever that means, in 2024. The act was intended to get a look inside shell companies, but now people are saying that this new regulation with having to register with this company, register with this agency, continue to register. You have to like re-register every 2 years.
Which probably comes with a fee as well.
And it comes with a fee. Like, and this is all these regulations, like they tout them. We have new regulation for small business, really going to help you guys out.
Yeah.
Boom. Have a 1,000-pound boulder on your shoulders. Like, people in government just don't get it. And I don't mean to bash people who get into politics, but like, what happens when you get into that? What happens when you get into that like arena that you just completely
they get
lose?
Money. The people get money. They have donors. That the only reason people get there is with donors, and then eventually you have to give some sort of compensation for it, right? To the people who give you money.
Well,
so they don't really care about small businesses. Every person up there that's talking, they don't really care about the little guy because when they get there, they might have a net worth of like 100,000. Like I saw Nikki Haley's, her net worth was nothing. She was worth nothing, and then all of a sudden, she got into office and she became a multimillionaire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
she had stocks in Boeing and all these military companies.
There's no reason any politician should be living that kind of life.
Yeah,
when you're a public
it's
servant.
supposed to be a public service, and that's it.
Well, here's another one that New York's putting out. Businesses. So let's piggyback off this Financial Crimes Enforcement Network. Businesses with more than 20 employees and more than $5 million in sales and up can qualify for exemptions. So the big guys are the ones that qualify for exemptions, not the little guys. And I think this goes back to the IRS now targeting small business and looking at them with the fine-tooth comb. And here's the problem. Small business is what makes this economy and country move.
Yeah.
It's how the middle class can move out of poverty. And every new regulation coming out seems like it's just trying to push everyone back down into poverty. For economy to flourish, small business has to flourish.
Yeah.
You will not find an economist that disagrees with that.
Well, there's a reason why. I think we've talked about this. I read an article, New Jersey, New York, California, and Connecticut are the 4 states where people are moving out of quicker at a higher percentage, at a higher rate than people are moving in. California?
Yeah.
Well, a ton of people moved out of California to neighboring states like Idaho or Texas. Elon Musk moved out of California, moved his business. Was it Joe Rogan also moved his business out and moved it to Texas? A lot of people moved their businesses to these states where they're more business friendly, where you're not taxed to death on your business.
You just hope that these people relocating aren't bringing their ideology with them that screwed up their own state.
For us, it's crazy to think about how there's certain states with no state income tax.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in
nice.
New Jersey, that's insane. It's an insane concept for us.
Right.
That would be really nice.
Yeah.
I do see a whole bunch of memes going around. You're taxed on the money you make, and then every time you pay something out, you're taxed. You're taxed on when you give money to your kids. You're taxed on this. We're being taxed to death.
Yeah.
Literally, that's not even an expression anymore. Whatever. I don't know. let's cool off a minute. Let's take a break. I just want to open up for a quick second and then shut back down. Let's see. Oh, remember the $600 and over thing that we're allegedly supposed to claim now on like Venmo and Cash App and stuff like that. So that was put on hold, obviously. Haven't heard much about that until part of the American Rescue Act, which was delayed last year, which is the $600 reporting threshold. The IRS says business won't have to report that revenue for 2023. They're planning on a threshold of $5,000 for the tax year in 2024 as part of a phase-in to eventually implement the $600 reporting threshold. So it's going to happen. You think it's going to stop at 600?
No.
We're going to go to a cashless society and they're not going to worry about anything below 600? You kidding me?
Yeah, the more I read about this, the more I'm pro tax evasion.
Okay. Jeez.
Let's start funneling money out of the country. Somehow courts makes $0 every year.
I'm going to start taking notes. Like, okay, so for my next step in business, offshore accounts.
How do we do this?
Okay. I'm learning so much so far.
We try to open up.
Excellent. We try to be educational here.
No, we try to open up Swiss bank accounts, and they're like, no, you need a certain amount of money for this.
Yeah.
This is like millions of dollars if you want to open this up.
Be like, sir, I have $500 and I need to quickly hide this before.
Yeah.
You know that
the government's coming after my $500.
You know that South Park episode? I think it came out in it might have come out all the way back in 2008 during the crash, and Stan wanted to save he got $100 from his grandma and he wanted to save $100, so they went to the bank. This is so funny. I used to quote this with Dan at work all the time. Like, we just quote South Park in this one. So he goes to his dad. He goes with his dad to the bank, and he's like, I want to open up a bank account. I have $100, and I would like to put this into a savings account and save it. And the guy's like, all right, let me take that $100, and we're just going to take this and we're going to put it against a money market account and try to increase the interest rate coming back, and it's gone. He's like, what do you mean it's gone? He's like, your $100, it's gone. He's like, I just had $100. He's like, and it's gone. He's like, please make room for people who have money at the bank. I do have money at the bank. No, you lost it. The end of the episode was great because all the financial decisions were being made by cutting a chicken's head off and then throwing it into a room with a whole bunch of phrases, and wherever the chicken died, that's what they would do next.
Honestly,
bail out.
Honestly, makes a lot of sense.
Bail out the banks.
Yeah.
Bail out the banks again. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Anywho, well, that's all I got for some current events in small business. Stay tuned next week for more fun, exciting news in the world of small business.
Yay, small business.
It takes a special person to want to put up with this garbage. I'm telling you.
Yes, absolutely.
So, ladies and gentlemen, meet Nahomi Enrico. You might recognize that last name from a previous guest we had, Dan Enrico, who did a marketing episode with us, which was actually really insightful. But Dan didn't have the pleasure of having a TV set to do the show on. Yeah.
He was on the audio.
He was on the audio.
He was on the old school.
He was on old school, and we now have more episodes of the studio than the audio. So we're going to have Dan back.
Okay. He looks beautiful on camera, so I'm biased.
He does. Well, listen, he's got his social media too. Mm-hmm. And I watch every single one of Dan's reels because they pop up in my feed, and he throws out some good information in 60 seconds.
Yes, he does.
And he throws out information that's especially in our industry, because when you get to mechanical guys, they don't have time for thinking about that stuff. It's going out, fixing, coming back, doing the books, going to bed.
Right.
But nowadays, with social media and online marketing and Facebook and staying, that stuff is important. You're just going to fizzle out if you're not doing that.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like the new platform, the new relevance. It's difficult sometimes to be out of that entire segment of life.
Especially if you're just a gruff, blue-collar grease monkey.
She's right. It's hard to stay relevant, too. It's like when everybody started getting used to Facebook, then Instagram came out. And then you had ways of getting getting your information out on Twitter. And now TikTok is out, and TikTok is the way to go. And it's like,
threads and all. Yeah, it's
everything is YouTube Shorts. And it's like, because now everybody's got the attention span of a squirrel.
Yeah.
So 30-second clips are even too long.
Oh,
You
perfect.
need 15-second clips, and people
Times are
can't pay
changing.
attention. Yeah.
Times are changing.
We used to make videos in the beginning. We used to make videos like hour and a half long videos. Remember on jobs that we used to do? We used to film the whole job.
They'd be like 10 minutes. I would edit them down to 10
You would
minutes.
edit them down to 10 minutes, but
But
it was
10 minutes is too long.
oh yeah, way too long. But we would try to film like doing an entire boiler, and people don't want to see that.
No.
Now have you seen like on TikTok you can watch entire seasons or movies, but like summed down really short, and like that's how people are watching movies and shows.
Really?
Being very serious.
That's how I watched Better Call Saul. I watched it on
On
YouTube
Tik-
Shorts.
Oh, on YouTube, yeah. People will literally, and like these accounts
I
that
guess
will
so,
will do
yeah.
that are like they're blowing up. They're making a good amount of money because they're making money by
So
views
basically,
and
the entire population just has ADD now.
yeah. Well, yeah, that, and I just think it's one of those things like this is something like we discuss at home a lot too. It's just like we just jam pack so much in our day that I feel like we don't have a lot of like just like spare time, but we still want to enjoy our spare time.
Yeah.
So it's almost like trying to make the most of our little spare
Right.
time, and so it's like you said, like you're working all day, whereas before it's like you'd come home after working all day, you'd eat your dinner, and
Yeah.
then be like, let's go to bed and do it again, you know.
Yeah.
But it's like now we like no, like I need to unwind and I need to do some self care and I need to do like me time, and it's
Yeah.
like I have 20 minutes to do me time.
Hurry up, everybody. Let's get delivery. We got to do me time.
Yeah.
And we're going to enjoy me time.
Yeah, you're gonna love it.
And the me time is sitting on the couch scrolling through 30-second reels.
Yeah,
I know,
not talking to
I
each
know,
other.
as quickly as possible.
Well, folks, Nahomi Enrico is here because she owns, sole proprietor, sole business owner of Busca La Luz, which is a small T-shirt printing company that makes cancer-friendly apparel. Let me get this. You can correct me, but let me get my version out.
Okay, you get your version out, and then I'll just.
She already looked at you with the
Cancer-friendly,
face.
cool cancer-friendly apparel.
Okay.
That is also a charitable organization that donates to cancer research.
Yeah, that was like a really cute try.
Okay, give it to me. Give it to me and give it to me good.
Yeah. So I would say Busca La Luz is my apparel brand. It's what I like to call my feel better brand. I do leisure wear, comfort wear, sweats, sweatshirts, things that just make you feel cozy and comfortable, but also sell accessories with the purpose of spreading positivity and also donating and giving back. So anytime you purchase, 10% of your purchase goes automatically to the Triple Negative Breast Cancer Foundation, which is the type of breast cancer that I was diagnosed with back in 2020.
And we're going to get into that. I mean, that's a long... I've known you guys. I've known Nahomi and Dan for a long time now. We're going on 20 years. I mean, how long have you guys been married?
We've been married now 12 years.
12 years.
Yeah.
And how long you guys were dating? I remember Dan back in the
Like,
day.
yeah. I mean, like, I think I met him when I was 17.
Oh, yeah.
So,
We're going on a long time.
yeah.
You guys got 2 beautiful children.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to get into all that. The journey, what started Busca La Luz.
You're saying it so beautifully. by
Am
the way.
I?
Yes.
What does it mean?
Busca La Luz. Yeah, you're saying it perfectly.
What does it
Because
mean?
off camera you were butchering the name.
Busca La Luz.
Yeah, Busca La Luz.
Somehow it became Nordic.
It did.
Sounded Ukrainian.
Also sounded like a tape deck in reverse.
Oh, but it sounds great now, though.
What does it mean?
So Busca La Luz is look for the light in Spanish. And so, diving into that, like back when I was doing chemo and I came up with the idea, I was drawing a lot of moths and just like really connecting, I guess, with moths because in a not weird way.
What does that mean? Is that a synonym for something?
Well, like, so I have a bit of a goth side, you know? Like, that's like my thing.
So you
but-
really mean moths?
like an actual moth, like a
Okay.
nighttime butterfly, like, you know.
Okay.
But just the concept that they really are, you know, seen as like something scary. They're kind of creepy, kind of like gross, but it's like they're out there just like trying to live their best life in the dark, you know? And they guide themselves
For
through
the 18
you
hours
know,
that they're alive.
yeah. They're trying to, like, they're guiding themselves through moonlight, through light. That's actually how they navigate. That's actually how they go about their businesses, guiding themselves through the light that they can find through the moon.
Oh, wow.
And so it's like, it's just an interesting concept where it's like people are like usually scared of them, but if you grab their wings or if you touch them, they're actually very frail. They're actually very fragile. They're delicate. But they're these nighttime creatures that are navigating through the night through the light that they can find from the moon. And it just felt like a concept that connected with me very much because it's like in my very, you know, dark, very difficult season in my life, I felt like I was like holding on to the little glimpses of light to get me to the next day and to get me to like my next mission and to my next purpose, you know? And so
Wow.
it's like, that's really like what connected the name, is just encouraging you. Like in those dark moments, look for your light to get you to like the next moment.
That's deep. This brand is
Whoa.
deep, bro.
It is a bit deep.
Whoa.
It is.
It is a bit deep.
Wow.
So, yeah.
So I want to take a quick break, but
You made him cry. He's about to cry. That's why we're taking a break, because he's gonna.
I'm all about crying. So like, if we want to cry, like, let's do
Man,
it.
neither of you will ever see
man
me
cry.
cry. No, let's take a quick break, but I want to get into the start of the company, your journey through the cancer journey, which is huge, and like coming out where you are now. So we're gonna touch on all that, and I'm glad you brought some of your merchandise to show, because, guys, she makes some really cool stuff. You're very creative,
Oh, thank you.
and it's just cool apparel. You know what I mean? Like, the designs are awesome, and now that I know the meaning, holy cow. But, all right, so stay with us. We're going to come back with Nahomi Enrico and Busca La Luz clothing apparel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, yeah. Like,
Beautiful.
yeah.
Stick with us, and we'll be right back.
Call Quartz Plumbing and Heating for top-rated service in Bergen County, New Jersey. And don't forget to keep treats for Frankie on hand.
Shout out to them people.
Now I finally open my eyes. I can see it's just a moment in time. Do you feel this way? Do you feel this way?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Plum Bums. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate all the viewers, all the viewer we get. No, I think, you know what? Everyone starts out small. What are you going to do? But I personally think that there is really not much of a perspective so candid of blue-collar trades and small business owners. And that's why I think the Everyman's Podcast is a great, like, secondary name. You know what I mean?
We
So
think
let
we're
me just
unique.
pat myself on the back here for just creating this whole.
I love plum bums. I just love saying that. Plum bums.
So you want to explain that?
Yeah.
Have we ever explained why
I
we
think
call
so.
it plum bums?
Probably early on.
Because we're two plumbers and we're losers.
Yeah. Well, it's a double entendre.
That's not what I thought. I thought it was like little booty bums, you know? Plum bums.
Oh,
Okay.
Like,
the plumber's crack.
yeah, like plumber's crack. I thought it was like a play on that.
We can institute that
That
too.
can be it too. We can do apparel. Maybe that you can make us apparel that with the butt
Yeah,
crack.
we
and-
do need to hire you. This
plum
logo back
bums.
here. This is what I was worried about, getting like the shading, the fading and stuff.
Okay.
But now with like when you're able to like print on it and then transfer to fabric, like the
Yeah.
possibilities are endless at this point.
Possibilities are endless. I will say, I was like, things with multicolor, it's like they don't last as long.
Oh.
Yeah, anything with
You
like
can
a
do
lot of
black and
colors,
white,
yeah.
Just that logo, but black and white. Black
Well,
and white
you
always looks good.
You still need to explain the origin of plum bums. Why did we come up with
So
plum
when we were
bums?
talking about it, I start like looking up. I like Roman history. I like Greek history. I
Oh.
like all that kind of stuff.
Is that you like your Roman Empire, like constant thing about the Roman Empire?
Yeah, my sister asked me that the other day. She was like, "How often do you think about the Roman Empire?" I'm like,
She
I don't
just
know.
saw that on a meme.
I don't know, like
was
once a
like-
day. Like,
That's insane. That was like
Huh?
a whole trend where you're supposed to ask guys in your life, like, you know,
Yeah.
how often. And it's just like, to me, it's the answers are consistent and they blow my mind. They
it's
blow
like
my mind.
it's like once a day because you look around at everything, everything around us, and
Collapsing.
you think how, yeah, that too, and how the Roman Empire collapsed, and then also like everything in your daily life. It's like roads. Just something as simple as roads that you drive on. I know that women don't think about this because they're a lot happier than we are. All right, but I'm thinking about deterioration constantly and how crappy the roads are, like what he said.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, it came from the Romans, and this wouldn't like Roman roads. I went to Italy.
Be
Right?
careful of the tangent. You still got to explain the meaning, the root.
Yeah.
of
Okay.
our-
Sorry. So I like that type of history. So I start looking up words, and plumbing came from the Romans. Our modern day plumbing came from the Greeks and the Romans, and I looked up the origin of the word plumbing, and it was original in Latin, plumbum. Plumbum was the
Plumbum.
original. Plumbum.
Oh.
So and it was a play on words that we were able to do plumb bums, and the concept of us being bums was kind of funny to us too. So we plumb bums.
That's awesome. See, this is what I love when people explain the names behind, you
Yeah.
know, what they do, because like even that, like when I explained what Busca La Luz means, I love that.
Like that, I'm still,
Oh,
I'm
like,
still,
you know, like,
I'm still
wow.
crying.
Wow, it's not like
Okay.
some random Spanish words. Yeah, it's like that's incredible. Plum bums. Okay.
Well,
I love stepping out of here smarter than I did when I came in. I just love that. I love that for me. What a journey for me.
that doesn't happen a lot here. So, so let's talk about Busca La Luz and how did I say it right again? Okay, just rolling off the tongue here.
Yeah.
The origin of it. So you did talk about this in the last segment, but you were diagnosed with breast cancer about how long ago?
I don't know why counting is difficult. It was back in 2020, at the end of 2020. So it was like the last, like 2020 was leaving, and it gave me like one last, like, you know,
Just
hurrah!
That's how we're gonna describe it.
2020 was like, what a thing. And then it's like December, we're like, guys, we're almost getting through it. And then it was December 7th, I was diagnosed with
Holy
triple negative breast
smokes.
cancer. Right before Christmas, yeah.
wow. And
Yeah.
if you can kind of walk us back to that, like, because you had before Busca La Luz, you said you were like a jack of all trades. You did everything.
Yeah, I mean, I what is it? The master of no, what is
Jack
it?
of all trades,
master of none. That was like, I would say that's what my life was. Where I would say one of my gifts, my spiritual gifts, and everything like that. Ooh,
Did you bump it?
I did.
That's all right. It wasn't
It's all
loud.
right.
Okay.
Right.
Is I'm just like a helper. Like I just love being like helpful. So I found myself in a lot of positions where I could be of help. And so I started, you know, like in the animal science, environmental education. I used to work for a nonprofit in the city where I would do environmental education for areas in the city that were kind of like deserts, green deserts. They wouldn't have access to parks, so they don't have access to organic or healthier foods. And so it was kind of educating children on the importance of green spaces and things like that. And then that, you know, also did, I was a zookeeper, which I loved.
That's cool.
I was a zookeeper. I've always loved animals, still
So
do.
why you know so much about moths?
Yeah. Maybe. Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
were you a zookeeper?
At the Bergen County Zoo. The
Bergen County Zoo.
Yeah, Van Son.
I used to love. Is the train still running over there?
Yes,
I used
sir.
to love that place.
Yes, sir. It's like, honestly, the train is popping off.
It
Like
is.
we
It's
went to the
always
Let It
busy.
Glow, and the line is always like
Yep.
wrapped
Oh,
around.
they have a light show over there.
They do. I don't know if it's still going. It might be over.
Oh,
But
I think it
Good
goes the
point.
whole month of December. Ice skating. Is that what you're talking about?
no, that's
No.
like you jump on the train and like you go through like a light show.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, now they have.
they have the Winter Wonderland.
Now they have
Yeah.
Winter Wonderland. Yeah.
But no, I mean they're doing really well. This zoo, I visit. I take my kids all the time.
Yeah.
And they're always like, "Can you take us back?" I'm like, "No, I don't work here anymore. Like I can't." And they'll go up to random people like, "My mom used to work here," and I'm like, "I
she
don't know
basically
these
owns
people."
the place.
Yeah, she goes, "I don't know if you know this, but like watch out, because like she used to work here."
She's like in like the monkey cage. She's like,
Yeah.
my mom used to work
Yeah.
here.
Back off! I have jurisdiction.
knows this monkey.
Yeah, they go like they just like flex on people all the time like that, and I'm just like, that's not accurate. But yeah, did that. Then I found once we started having children. The flexibility of my job was obviously such a key thing. Like in this area, you have to have a 2-income household.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I did get to stay home for a little while, but definitely not as long as I wanted to when my kids were small. And I gravitated towards a career in education with schools because obviously they have the most conducive hours and schedules for when you're a young mom.
Yeah.
And so I ended up working at a private Christian school. I ended up just started helping. Their financial director left. I stepped into that role. My OCD played really well into that, and then I just did I thrived there for many, many years, kind of like doing tuition and the bookkeeping and things like that. And then due to COVID, the school actually unfortunately had to close. Like many private schools had to close because of COVID. And then I was working for a Christian nonprofit called Lighthouse.
Lighthouse Pregnancy Center.
Yeah. I was translating and doing counseling there, which I absolutely loved.
I've done fundraisers for them.
Yeah.
In Hawthorne?
Yeah, I worked in the Hackensack location. Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've always been very close to that organization, always volunteered. Dan does work for them.
The staff is unbelievable.
They're incredible.
Unbelievable.
They're just incredible.
That whole organization is amazing.
But yeah, Lighthouse provides, resources for women that find themselves in unexpected, unplanned pregnancies.
Yeah.
And they just do an amazing job. It's very unfortunate. Right now they're receiving a lot of backlash, a lot of lies that are not true about what they do.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, but they do wonderful stuff. But I was actually working there through the pandemic, kind of remotely counseling women and still doing a lot of the programs. And, during the pandemic, I was like, let's get fit. They said, I think it's like you either got fluffy or you got fit.
Yeah.
And so I as a gift to Dan, I actually turned the garage into a gym at our home. And I ended up using it a lot.
Okay.
And I got beefy. I was flexing. And so I was like, living my best life, like counseling women and like working out. And all of a sudden, I was lifting and I felt this pain under my right arm. And I was like, oh, I must have like pulled something. And so I didn't want to continue to lift with something pulled. So I was like, okay. But like the Spanish woman in me is like, let's just put some Vicks Vapor Rub on that and we're going to keep it moving. Like Vicks is going to fix it.
Yeah.
And that's it. And something about it, like I remember I laid down, I did a self-breast exam and I found a lump under my arm. And I again, in my naive, like I'm so fit, I'm like eating so clean, like nothing can touch me. I was like, oh, it must be like a swollen lymph node, just from all the working out. And so, but something in me was like, and I say it's God. I feel like God just kind of put that in me to be like, you know what, go to the gyno. Like, just go check that out. And so I did. Thank the Lord, I got an appointment right away. When I went to the gyno, she actually found 3 lumps, all under my right side. And she goes, to be honest, I'm not comfortable with what I'm feeling here. At the time, I was 32, so normally I wouldn't be going for a mammogram. The insurances don't love giving you a mammogram at that age. But she really pushed it. And again, I praise God that she did because I went and what was supposed to be like a routine mammogram turned into 7 hours at the Betty Torricelli center there in Hackensack.
Wow.
And it was like 4 mammograms, 3 ultrasounds. They ended up doing 3 biopsies right then and there. And so they were so sweet. But it's like, obviously, like, because of COVID, they couldn't let me go and then come back because you had to like get tested and make sure you didn't have COVID. Just knowing that they wouldn't let me go home, I already knew something was off, And then they were like, oh, we're going to set you up with like a breast surgeon. And I was like, is that normal? She was like, yes, everybody sees a breast surgeon. I'm like, oh, okay. And I just knew it wasn't great. And then a couple of days later, they told me, they're like, we're going to expedite your pathology and all the tests and stuff like that. And it was Monday, and like it was like Thursday I went in. Monday I got the call that everything had come back for positive for breast cancer.
Wow.
It had spread into my lymph nodes, and it was very difficult because normally they would sit you down in person, but because of COVID, sometimes they were doing these calls over the phone. And so I got told over the phone. I asked, well, what kind of breast cancer is it? And they were like, we don't know. And I was like, well, how bad is it spreading? They're like, we don't know. It just looks really bad. That's literally what I was told.
Over the phone.
And then I had to wait. That was Monday. I had to wait till Thursday to speak to the breast surgeon, which I was kind of like,
jeez, yeah.
So it was like torture.
Yeah.
Like I would say
the worst 4 days.
It was the worst.
Well, I don't want to say the worst. But.
It was like we look back and that was because you don't have any answers.
Yeah.
Like, you're just thinking the worst. You're thinking that's it. It's over. There's no course of action.
Right.
And so through another God occurrence, because I feel like God worked a lot in our lives in that time, we met someone who actually worked really high up in Hackensack. I was like going to see like a practitioner. And he was like, absolutely not. He got me to see the head of the breast surgery department in Hackensack, and he like was like, tomorrow you're gonna see her.
Wow.
And so I ended up going Wednesday to see her, and Dr. Montgomery.
Represent.
She is an amazing woman. Like we used to say, like when she walked into the room, we were like, if cancer was a person, like she could kick cancer's ass.
Okay.
Like she just looked like she walked in there. She throws the chart. And she goes, "You're gonna be fine."
Really?
She was like, "You're super duper healthy. I'm gonna throw the kitchen sink at you, and you're gonna handle it, and you're gonna be fine."
That's how she walked.
That's
in.
how she walked in.
Oh, that would give me a lot of confidence.
Yeah. And she was like, "This is not stuff that people die for. Like people don't die because of this."
Wow.
And I was like,
That would, yeah.
and honestly, even at that time, I was like, if it was a lie, I didn't care, because I just loved that she just gave me the confidence to be like, bet, like whatever is gonna come, I could be sick as a dog, but if you're telling me that this is a chance, like to get better and to like, be fine, then let's go. Like,
Dude, keeping the spirits up. I don't know. I've never been terminally sick, but like
You're constantly
that's a
terminally
big
sick.
aspect. What?
You're constantly dying. You're constantly terminally sick. Are you kidding me? I've never been terminally sick.
Okay, well,
You should
besides
see him when he
that-
gets the cold.
Something about- oh, terrible.
oh no.
It's those 4
He
days.
needs to go
it's
see your
the
days
doctor
that
when
you
he gets the
experience.
cold.
Yeah. You're just like
yeah.
already signing
the
off your
worst.
possessions.
Yeah, 100%. Like I'm giving away. Frankie's out in a box by the road, like free puppy, needs a home.
Yeah.
The owner's not going to make it. No, but
Max, you can have my truck. That's what I'm waiting for him to say.
and then like after the 4 days, I got to go get Frankie out of the box. You know,
Yeah.
But I hear the outlook and the attitude towards it has a huge impact on your recovery.
1,000%.
Yeah.
Mentality is like a huge part of that. And that's why a lot of development in cancer care actually first starts with like the psychology and like the psyche and like the treating of people
Yeah.
with cancer, because it's like it has such a stigma that when you feel like you're up against something you can't win, then you quit. Like for example, like I very much went into the mentality that whatever my doctor told me, because she seemed like she was steering the ship right, I was like, whatever she says, I'm gonna do. And so she was like, you're gonna show up to your chemo sessions every time, and I'm like, that's what I'm gonna do. I didn't know that like there are people that wouldn't go, like they would get really sick or they would get really discouraged, and like they're like, I can't do this, and they would like stop going to their chemos.
Really?
Which would, I didn't know that. I was like, if the doctor tells you to go, you go. But some people, like, they wouldn't have help. They would be by themselves.
Oh, yeah.
They would just be in such a like emotional, difficult place that they were like, honestly, why am I even trying to beat this?
Yeah.
And it really is. It's like mentality
That
is a
is
huge
brutal.
part. Yeah.
That's-
And yeah.
Can you talk about the treatment a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So very quickly, I mean, again, it was lightning fast. Like the 7th, I was told that I was positive for cancer. Everything came back positive for cancer. I met with the surgeon on Wednesday, and by the following Thursday, I was doing chemo.
Really?
Yeah. And so the type of cancer I have had is called triple negative breast cancer. And so what it means is that all of the receptors, the hormone receptors, are negative. Like it's not receptive to hormone treatment. So it's like
What's the hormone treatment?
So they have discovered in certain cancers that if you, it has certain receptors that are
Okay.
available, that if you, it can be, it can
All right.
kind of, I guess, be combated. Like there are treatment options that are hormone treatment based. And so it's like you can,
Okay.
So
I got you.
For example, there is a lot of oral chemo medication that women with hormone receptive cancers can take. But because mine is triple negative, I don't qualify for those treatments.
It wouldn't work anyway.
It doesn't work.
Okay.
There's no
Gotcha.
receptors, yeah. So then what does work for triple negative is very aggressive chemo.
Really?
Yes. And so that's
So
like
at 32 years old, with 2 young children, you went through very, very aggressive chemo. I mean, can you kind of walk us through that? Like, what did you experience? Let's say, like, people who are going to have to go through that, what are they going to be looking at? What are they going to be experiencing?
I mean, it's a very difficult time. It is. I didn't know this. I didn't realize how many different types of chemos there are.
Okay.
So the doctor told me that the type of cancer I had is very common in younger women and women of color. They don't necessarily know why, but they're like, usually my older patients, they get the nicer cancer. the younger patients get the mean cancer.
Really?
Yeah, and so usually, like, if you get diagnosed later on in life, it's very possible that you might have like a slower growing cancer, like a
Okay.
less aggressive cancer. But triple negative breast cancer grows very quickly and spreads fast. And
That's why it was in your lymph nodes by
Yeah.
the time you found it.
yeah. And so what they do is they do strong chemo, but also, like, if you are someone that I guess maybe you get a chemo and it makes you so sick that like your white blood cell count goes down drastically, they're going to switch you to something else, or they're
Okay.
going to maybe take a pause because you can't physically handle it. Praise God, for some reason I was in the best physical condition of my life, and so they start you off with this medicine called adriamycin. It's called the Red Devil.
Okay.
And so it's like these tubes of red liquid that go, that's the chemo. And you get a port put in your chest because the chemo is so toxic that it can almost like collapse your veins. And like the constant like dose of it through your veins can like really damage them. And if it gets into your system, then it's like emergency, like we need to like detox you fast.
Wow.
Yeah. And so then you get a port in your chest that pretty much like runs a thick tube right into your heart, like loops all the way up and then right down into
So you're
like
cut
your,
open for this.
Yeah, so this incision is a small incision.
Okay.
And they do it so fast.
Okay.
It's like a same day procedure. They put that right in. It's like a little button. So I would have a button and my kids would constantly press it. Just be like this button.
Because that's what kids do.
That's what kids do. And so then that's where you would get your liquids, your steroids, and your chemotherapy would run through that. And so, you know, infusions at the time, you know, we see it usually on TV where it's like all these chairs and like, you know, people are sucking on icicles.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's similar. It's much nicer than
Okay.
what you see on television.
Fair enough. Well,
they-
you knew the bigwig at the hospital. He got you hooked up.
Well, I think everybody goes to the same infusion center.
Fair enough.
But everybody there was so nice. Their staff, you know, shout out to, you know, I went to the John Thurr Cancer Center at Hackensack, and they were all incredible. But unfortunately, because of COVID, you had to go by yourself. So all the family members had to stay
Ugh.
with their masks on, and they had to stay out in the waiting room distance
Okay.
from each other. And so I had to go in where, you know, obviously we're all sensitive, and so I would go in by myself. But again, they were just like wonderful. You get a lot of steroids. That was something I didn't know. You get a lot of
Okay.
steroids, which like really help you feel like, yeah.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
It's like an adrenaline rush
Yeah.
almost.
And then you get home and it wears off and you're just like, oh no.
Oh, jeez.
But you do your infusion. You know, during infusion you're fine because they give you so many medications to kind of
Right.
like you're good. It's usually like when you go home later on in the evening is when it, like the symptoms really start kicking in. And
What's
so
that like?
the symptoms were rough. So my first infusion, I go get infused. They give me the steroids. I don't know anything. I'm like, Daniel, this is like super easy. Like it was snowing. It was like that. It was like this the first major snow of 2020.
I don't know what all those cancer patients are fussing about.
I
This
was
is-
like, I was out building a snowman with all the kids in my neighborhood. I was like, guys, look at me roll this. And we were eating pizza.
You're like
and I
singing
was just
Frozen
like,
musical outdoors.
I was like, oh my gosh, I am just
triple
killing
negative breast cancer. I'm
I
fine.
am just killing this cancer game. I was like, not me.
Give me a clipboard to just throw on the desk right now.
Seriously. And I remember like so vividly, we were sitting on the couch and it was like around 7:00 and I said, Daniel, I don't feel right. And I go upstairs and by the time I make it upstairs, violently ill.
It's like puking.
Violently ill. It's odd. It's like you don't actually puke. You just gag really badly.
Oh, that's even worse.
Yeah. Because it's like something about your stomach that's like, it's yeah. It honestly, it kind of is because you're just
It is.
exhausted and
Yeah.
nothing happens.
Nothing's happening.
Yeah. And so it's like, and then usually the way mine was it would be really, really bad symptoms for about 4 days after infusion. And then you got a break for a couple of days and then you had to do it all over again.
How long did you have to do this for?
5 months. And so,
5 months.
yeah, 5 months of chemo.
I mean, so you're going through 5 months of chemo. Let me ask you this. I don't know if you went into it like this, but you said you decided on this business like in the middle or toward the end of your chemo. When did it hit you like, okay, I'm going through this, but you know what? I'm at the point I need to like pay it forward. Like, how did that develop? Because that's really where the business came from.
Right. I don't know if I even felt like it was necessarily like I had to pay it forward. I'd say cancer gave me two big things. I feel like it gave me perspective, and it gave me like a very different outlook on how I process life. Before, I also did a lot of counseling and therapy during chemo, and I didn't realize just how much anxiety and how much of I was in depression before my cancer diagnosis. Actually, I didn't even realize it. I was like just trying to like kind of like work through it, and I thought that I could like do my works-based acts to like get myself out of these funks, and it would just like kind of spiral into worse like bad behaviors. Like I feel like I could gain your approval by like doing these works of service,
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, like it was very planned out. Like even my relationship with God, it was like, if I don't do the things that God wants me to do, then it's almost like my notches are counting against me, and I would have anxiety because I was like, that means I'm gonna have to pay the penalty, And it was this weird system I had set up in my head to try to control things.
A works-based system.
A works-based system of trying to control things in order to determine my value, in order to determine a lot of the things that we don't have answers for. I think I would start developing these kind of systems to try to get validation, And so then being able to like just have time where like everything shut down in my life, I was able to like really process like, why do I do the things that I do? And I think even to this day, I don't really think too far in advance.
Okay.
Obviously, like as people, we do.
Well, yeah.
You got to think about next month's mortgage.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I definitely don't like go into it so much as like these massive far in advance goals.
You're not worrying.
I'm not, because I realize that tomorrow it's not promised. It really genuinely is not promised, and so it's like I
especially to like going through this at 32 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, it's your prime of your life.
Yeah.
Nobody thinks that they're going to be pelted by. I'm
going to live forever. Are you kidding me? I might need like oh, this is terrible. I'm not even going to say it. I might need some sort of terminal illness to make myself have a better outlook on life. I look at it so negatively.
Honestly,
it's scary.
Honestly, like a lot of people I meet, they're like, everybody says it's like it's unfortunate that that's what it takes, but that's one positive thing is just you gain perspective.
I just want to go on the record with God. Please don't give me an illness. I don't want that. I just
listen.
I completely regret what I just said.
Yeah.
No.
Lord, scratch that from the record.
So stricken.
Yeah.
No,
but yeah.
Look at how God deals with a lot of people in Bible characters and stuff.
Yeah.
Not like he's putting them through it, but like honestly, they need to go through it to come out on the other side stronger. Nobody wants to do that. You know what my dad told me? So my dad became a Christian when he was like 12. So he was my grandfather, who was an alcoholic and very abusive, had become they were raised Catholic, and then he became a Baptist. Could not stomach another drink after he got saved. The day he came home, he tried drinking, and he couldn't keep it down. Just started puking. So they started going to this church, and like 4th, 5th Sunday, he's one of 7, and one by one they went up to the altar and they accepted Lord as children. And he goes, I became a Christian. I was excited about it for 2 days, and then I started praying to the Lord, Lord, please don't send me as a missionary to the middle of the African jungle. I really don't want to do that. It's like already like putting like conditions on his salvation as a 12-year-old.
Yeah.
But I mean, that is to come out. I mean, what were we going to say?
Well, just funneling back to answer your question was just kind of like, I think because of this new way I think now, I got this passion, feeling, and idea, and I was like, you know what, God, I was like, I'm just gonna take it one day at a time and like see what happens. And I just knew 2 things. I wanted to be bold about sharing my creativity, and I wanted it to be something where I gave back, because I was blessed so much during that whole experience. I know people find it difficult for me to say, but it's like I don't want cancer again. I wish I didn't have to go through it, but at the same time I wouldn't take it back, because I think the person that I became because of it, and the kind of like blessings people were able to provide to me, was like, those moments were so beautiful. It's like I can't take those back. Like I wouldn't want to take those back, you know. And so then I just knew that that's something I wanted to do. I wanted to not just give a donation, but just kind of be a better person, to be able to be there for other people when they're in their difficult time.
Too much positivity going on right now. It's like when you see a cute baby or a cute puppy, and you're just like, nah. I can't do this.
Let me just punch the dog in the back.
What's going on here? You know in that scene in The Grinch when his heart grows and,
Yeah.
and it just and it pops the little radar.
I love it. And he starts the dog's licking.
Make
He's
it
like,
stop.
All right.
All right.
One step at a time.
Yeah. Aw.
That is unbelievably inspiring. I mean, you're right. Nobody wants to go through that. Nobody wants to go through that. And then they come out on the other side. And listen, not everybody comes out on the other side.
Right.
Learning, growing, paying it forward like you do. And it takes down a lot of people.
Yeah.
So
I also don't ever want to put myself like in this, like I am terrified of cancer. Like so with my treatment, I had chemo and then I had a double mastectomy. So I had both my breasts removed and I had reconstruction.
Wow.
And I had to have part of my lymph nodes removed as well. But like literally I go often to the doctor because the only way to check is like, will it come back? Like nobody can be like, oh, you have a clean bill of health. It's like, we're going to keep going to checkups and hope every single time we go to the checkup, nothing happens.
Well, you've been in remission for how long?
So that's what I'm saying. It's like technically I haven't heard those words because it's,
Oh, wow.
It's like, I'm at my 3-year mark post chemo. And so when I get to 5 years, it's like, okay, we can safely say that we got this. Like this thing was killed, 100%.
Well, what trajectory are you on at least right now? They kind of spell that out, right?
So so like right now, I don't take any oral medication. I don't do anything like that. I do go to a lot of doctor's appointments. I see my oncologist very regularly. They do extensive blood work to look for tumor markers to make sure that the tumors haven't returned. I get physical exams as well. And, like I said, like I've reached about almost my 3 years. With every year, it's like your chances of it returning plummet.
Okay.
And so once you get to the 5-year mark is usually when you're considered like
you're over
you
it.
made it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I wish nothing but the best for you in that. I mean, that's just. Can you talk about? And I don't know. Listen, I'm a man. Okay, I can't. He's a man. We can't really relate to it.
Men can get breast cancer apparently,
No,
right?
not-
Yes, they can.
Well, they can, yeah.
Right?
Yes, they can.
But what I was gonna say is,
I knew that.
I don't know. The double mastectomy, okay, that had to be very difficult because that's like. It's not like you're
part of
defined,
womanhood.
but yeah, it's a part of your womanhood. It's a part of like, did you view it like that at all? Or,
I think.
or am I like reading too much?
No,
into
I
this?
think definitely some people do. I
Uh-huh.
think some people definitely connect and they feel that as like such a major identity, attribute.
Yeah.
But a good portion of the women that I've encountered, pretty much like once you get diagnosed with breast cancer, so I what happened was mine was like ductal carcinoma. So it's like one of my milk ducts
Okay.
in my breast, a cell went rogue. They don't know why. I don't have genetic, abnormalities. I don't have family history. I didn't have any environmental red flags. It was just this one cell decided one day,
Jeez.
screw it all, and like went rogue and turned into a cancer cell and started growing. And so it's like, I think because of that, because it's just so random, I felt very much like I can't believe my booby ducts did that to me. Like I can't believe, like, you know what I'm saying?
They
Like
betrayed you.
I had a very difficult time breastfeeding my children. Like it was very painful. It was very difficult. So I was like, y'all didn't show up to me then,
Right.
and now you're out here trying to mess with me now.
Right.
It's like, so I was in the mentality. I was ready to go. Like I remember like early on, we weren't even talking about the surgery part yet. I was like, psh, both of these girls are leaving.
Really?
Their eviction notice on the door stat. Like, let's go. So, and one great thing, with the insurance in this area is when you are diagnosed with breast cancer, all reconstruction is covered for like the rest of your life.
Oh wow. Okay.
So like your insurance covers. I had an amazing plastic surgeon who, again, like they went through hoops because technically they weren't in network, and they went through the paperwork of getting an extension, of getting coverage, and like helping me, and like honestly just like tremendous people. Like I've encountered nothing but tremendous, incredible women, because honestly my entire team has been women.
Jeez.
Who have just gone above and beyond to like, and not just with me. Like I can see that this is how they treat all of their patients, and but yeah, the boobies were out.
My aunt Linda, she's a. It's just like, forget it. They betrayed me. I want nothing to do
Exactly. I was like, I feel like I kept you guys pretty happy for a long time, and that was just such a backstabbing move.
with No, my Aunt Linda, who I know watches the show because she's commented, she went through, now she's older, obviously. But she's a strong person anyway. Like, she's tough. Okay, you know my family. Like, she's just, you don't want to mess with Linda. Okay, she's been like that her whole life. She's
With a name like that? No
she's
way.
a street cat. Okay,
She's a street cat.
she is. I mean, okay.
Linda was a wild one.
Linda was a wild one. So, but she went through the whole thing, and she got the double mastectomy as well. She went through the whole thing, but as an older woman, and I don't know how really chemo treated her, but I mean, you said that it's slower growing the older you get. So
That's like generally the rule.
Okay.
Is the doctor said the probability of an older woman having an aggressive form of cancer is less, and then
Okay.
a younger woman having a less aggressive form is like, that's what it seems to be the trend. You know.
I mean, listen, she came out on top as well. Praise God.
Yeah, praise God.
She got into the medical industry because of it. Like, it really changed like her outlook. I know that. I mean, listen, I'm not very close with a lot of, like, we don't talk.
Yeah.
When we get together, it's like, you know, we never left the room. But she hit the ground running, came out on the other side, got into the medical industry, you know, and looking at you, what you went through, and now you're a mother with 2 young kids, and I feel like the business you're in now is really just like, you got to be just grateful for where you're at right now. I mean, how are you?
Yeah.
How do you view this chapter in your life?
No, I feel very, very grateful. But to be honest, like, I mean, it might be like warped and sick, but I feel very grateful during treatment too. Like, I don't feel like at any point did I feel like I was abandoned by God or like I was being punished necessarily. It was odd. It was like having, like, getting diagnosed with something that severe. I didn't take it as in like, oh man, all these like systems I had put in my head, like I was failing so badly that this is my punishment. It was almost like the entire system I had created in my head like just came crashing down because like I had done all these things right and I still got my worst fear realized, you know? So then it almost like in my mind like solidified. It's like, Naomi, stop trying to earn God's favor. Stop trying to like earn, you know, favor in people or like in your own value. It's like, see, no matter what you do, you're not going to avoid bad things happening. So it's like, just let it go, you know? And so it like diagnosis came and it was literally like instantaneously, like just all of that kind of came crashing down and I just stopped thinking the way I used to think before, you know?
This is
and
like
then
triumphant. It is like, you know, the old walls come and crash. Like,
Yeah.
I love that. I'm gonna rewatch this episode like 5 times. But out of your, among other things that were born out of this tragedy in your life, you started Busca La Luz, which is, and you talked about it in the first segment, super deep, the designs that you have, and now you make apparel that is wearable, cool, comfortable, and you take a lot of the proceeds and you put it back to cancer research, cancer charities and stuff like that. Are there any specific ones you want to shout out?
Yeah, so like I solely right now it's all goes to the Triple Negative Breast Cancer Foundation, so the TNBC,
Okay.
which they're also in New Jersey. They're local. I'm literally trying to get everything in my business like as local as possible.
Yeah.
So yeah, but they're right here in New Jersey. But they're an incredible organization that provides help to women who are diagnosed, but their families as well. You know, they're doing the most incredible things with, you know, research in that specific type of cancer. And they're just, again, I've just now started kind of like dipping my foot into that community, and they're just all an incredible community of people who are just...
We'll shout them out.
Yeah.
I'll plug them. I'll put all the
TNBC.
information on the screen.
They know. They're dope on my social media pages. I was like, I love you guys.
Well, so I want to take another break. When I come back, first of all, I want to showcase your designs. So we're definitely going to go through that. And then I kind of want to talk about like how you run your business, your social media. You guys have to subscribe to Naomi's social media. It's hysterical. First of all, you use all the trending audio.
I do.
I love
trending audio.
That's huge, like
Yeah.
being successful. But we're going to plug your socials, talk about that, and like basically just kind of how you take your business and meet the world with it. All right, but guys, stick with us. We'll be right back. We'll continue with this amazing story, and thanks for watching again. We'll be right back.
Call Quartz Plumbing and Heating for top-rated service in Bergen County, New Jersey. And don't forget to keep treats for Frankie on hand.
Hey, cancer, heart disease, and the rest of you illnesses. We've got news for you. At Hackensack Meridian Health, we are ready. Every world-class doctor, every compassionate nurse, and every brave patient. We believe that no matter what happens, no matter what's thrown at our patients, we're here to help them overcome it. With hearts that know no limits. The latest innovations and procedures that are changing the world of medicine. And care that's stronger than any illness. Just ask her. We rise up, we ground break, we're resilient. The best minds here for the best outcomes. So that today and every day, we're ready.
All right, folks, welcome back to Plum Bums. Thanks for watching. We're here with Nahomi Enrico, and she has brought some really cool designs that she makes with her company, Busca La Luz. I'm going to give you that one more time.
Slaying it every time.
I used to work with a lot of like South Americans. So.
Okay. So your
and I would
accent's pretty
practice,
good?
yeah. Well, they were all Costa Rican, and mostly Costa Rican. And there's a huge like street slang.
Yes.
That is not real Spanish. Well, it is real Spanish, but like not
them.
that you learn in school. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's how I learned.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty cool.
It's difficult. It's like my husband, obviously, like he's bilingual. He
Right.
speaks completely Spanish, but it's Dominican Spanish, and so
Yeah.
he goes and joins Colombians, and they're like,
get out of here.
not the same.
Get out of here.
Not the same.
Well, we're here with Nahomi. Unfortunately, we're gonna have to do without Max. He had a soccer game to go to, so he's got his priorities straight, as you can tell. But he's not even gonna hear that. So he was not here for 2 episodes. I was like,
Okay.
"Oh, did you listen to him?" He's like, no."
Oh, so if he's
I'm like,
not
really?
if he's not on?
If he's not on.
Okay.
If he's on, he'll do a water heater and listen to the whole episode downstairs. I'm like,
Wow.
you self-absorbed.
even when he like doesn't say much in the episode, he's like, I just want to hear my
I
breathing.
just want to see how just analyze my expressions. Like, jeez. But so what did you bring for us today?
So I guess I'll slip out of here.
Yeah. Okay. So let's we can figure out how to
okay,
do that.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do what you got to do.
But no, yeah, I brought some goodies, and so I just brought the popular items that are doing really, really well.
While you're pulling that out, I'm going to remind everyone, you have to follow her social media. It's awesome. It's hysterical. Okay, so let's
Love
see
that.
what we got.
Yeah, so we have, these are part of the new designs, and so on cruise, this one's is our positive vibes.
Try to keep closer to that mic.
I see.
Here, I can help you hold that up if you
Yeah,
need.
so this is like the positive vibes is one of the new bestsellers. Like people really like it, and so obviously, I would say I own a feel better brand, and so it's all about a lot of the designs are, encouraging and just like you wear your positivity on yourself
Yeah.
without it being
What
too
is it?
cheesy.
So you print heat transfers, but it's plastisol.
Yes. So I do all the pressing at home.
Uh-huh.
I source my blanks. I try to source them locally. I've actually found a New Jersey-based blank supplier. And the items themselves, the garments themselves, are manufactured, like let's say in Pakistan,
Yeah.
but ethically produced. Factories are ethically like labeled factories.
So as a business owner, you have to go and you look into that,
Right.
you research that stuff,
Right.
you make sure you're doing it right, soup to nuts.
And there is like a lot of legwork in that because there's a lot of people that will say that, but they don't have actual proof. And you have to like kind of research like, if they say that they're this organization
The
certified.
wording.
Yeah, you have to make sure that they actually are part of that
I gotcha.
organization. And I try. It's a lot of work, but I try because obviously, like it's a important aspect for me in my business. to make sure that I try to know and be knowledgeable as best as I can to where these items are coming from and who's producing them.
I mean, this feels comfortable.
Yes, they're super
Oh,
soft.
let me go feel the inside. I love a good sweatshirt.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna
so
lie.
these are super
Oh,
soft.
yeah.
This that I have here is like the most sold design I've ever made. I actually
Okay.
went viral on TikTok with this sweatshirt. I was pressing it and everybody was like, "No, that's not a black design on a black sweatshirt." I was like, "How can you see it?" And it's like, I
It
don't
looks
know.
cool.
That's how it is. But yeah, this was like a, just kind of like a logo that I have. I had like made stickers, but it's pretty much like the iconic moth.
The iconic moth.
The moth.
The Busca La Luz moth.
Yeah, and then hecho con amor is just made with love in Spanish. And so
Let me hold this up. I actually really like that. That is cool. And your tag, even your tag is just the way you tag your clothes. Look at that. That's adorable. And then you have the care on
Yeah.
the back.
Yeah.
So you get these mass produced. Oh, and all your socials too.
yeah.
You're doing
And
it right.
so,
This
yeah.
is really cool.
So I put the tags. I tried to use this minimal plastic too. So soon I'm hoping to get like new packaging that'll be like recyclable packaging. But even like the tags, I use cloth. I don't like using, I use the metal pins with the cloth tags because
Okay.
I'm trying to not use plastic as much as I can. But
Very
yeah, these
cool.
are also like I put out a bunch of comfort colors designs. So like a lot of my t-shirts, I think most of the t-shirts now are on the site are comfort colors,
Quality.
which are, to be honest, like I've tried multiple different types of t-shirts and blanks, and this is my favorite, the comfort colors. They're
Here, let's hold that up too. That's
Yeah.
a really cool design.
So this
I
is-
like that charcoal. The white
Yeah.
on the charcoal.
so this is the Busca University. So I've always wanted my own university logo. Like, who doesn't, right?
Okay.
So like, and then obviously with above all love is like the most important principle there. So
Beautiful.
so
What else?
don't you ever like wish you had like your own university brand thing? Like,
I mean,
I want a varsity, like
I guess I guess I've like dreamed about things similar.
Yeah.
Not so much a university,
yeah.
but I mean, just to like market yourself. I mean,
Yeah.
why not? Yeah, you know what? I think you're right.
Right?
Okay.
Like, just like imagine,
I feel you.
right?
Okay.
Like, you just want in that collegiate lettering,
Yeah,
and
okay.
like, why not?
All right, we're on the same page. Nice.
But yeah, as you can tell, like, so like this is another popular. It's handled with care.
Oh, that's cute.
All the designs are just, in some way, inspired to just be kinder, be nicer to yourself, be nicer to others. And that's pretty
What's this
much like.
design?
So this is the
has
handle.
chest design.
This is a chest design, yeah, like a front chest design, and so these are also printed on comfort colors. But
Are all these unisex, or do you like buy specific?
so everything, there's a couple of items, like there's like a box tee that was on the site that was just women's, but pretty much 99% of everything is unisex fit.
Okay.
So sweatshirts, hoodies, everything like that.
Wow.
But yeah, I have, and and sometimes like, here's another popular, but it's this is the Make Mistakes, which has like a puff design, so like you feel it and it's like raised. But
How do you do that?
that's it's-
Without giving away your secrets.
so I mean, this is very popular right now, is the puff design. So
Yeah.
you can actually get transfers that are puff vinyl, puff plastisol, and like when you
Wow.
heat press them, they raise. They're
And okay, so when you wash this, I mean, how does it stand up in the wash? Like,
It does pretty well.
Does it?
Yeah. So that's why I also put like here instructions, like obviously like, put your garment inside out, cold wash, tumble low dry, and that'll make it last longer. But I mean, I have some of these sweaters that are a year old and I probably wash them, every 2 weeks, and
It's sparkling.
yeah,
Stuff.
they're like, with the puff, to be transparent, let's not be, but the puff, they do crack with the wash, but like they should hold up, 30 to 40 washes, like,
This
and
is
stay
a
the same.
comfortable sweatshirt. I
Yeah,
like
these are all-
this.
So yeah, so it's like
Nicely
pretty much
done. That's cool. Let me hold this up. Oh shoot!
we lost it.
Sorry, guys. Everyone listening, like, ah!
Just making sure you're awake.
This feels so comfortable, and the fit looks great.
Yeah.
This fit looks like just like almost loungewear.
Yeah, I tried to do it standard
the
fit.
style.
So like if you purchase something that's like true to size, like to the regular size, it's not like tight, but it's like a slightly looser. I wear everything oversized, so I wear like giant 2XL stuff.
Do you sell this bag?
So these bags are now going to be, as of January, going to be available as well. And so these are like the Busca totes, and with the, our kind of like my phrase, which is like the idea of like feel better, be better, do better. So obviously like take care of yourself, make sure you feel good, do better as in make yourself, every day better.
Yeah.
And then you're able to, as your better version of yourself, are able to do better, which is then affecting other people in your community.
That's a classy design. I like that. The lettering's good.
So.
Guys, I'm telling you, go to her social medias. You got to get her stuff. This is quality. I'm going to have to get one of these sweatshirts. This is awesome.
Well, I forgot my gifts to you.
Oh,
And
jeez,
so
look at that.
Got you guys your own,
Thank you so much.
set of Busca gear as well.
We got our first swag as
your first swag. Yeah.
Look at that.
And these are like the classics. So this is the Salmos tee, which is the Salmos 23 in Spanish, and so which is like one of like the favorites.
Well, let's see. You know what? I have to read this and see if I can catch on because I do know that psalm. Well, I'm not going to do it now. But very cool.
But yeah.
Ooh, a hoodie.
Yeah.
Girl, you know me. Look at that. I love this
And
color.
so then that's the original, that's called the Busca hoodie. And so again, like just the OG design.
I like
that's
this
like,
design.
Yeah,
this is a cool
that's
design.
the OG moth
I love
logo.
the moth.
Yeah.
The moth is a really cool concept, especially when you know the background.
Right.
That's a really cool design.
I know. Some people were like scared of it. I was like, just think of it as like a nighttime butterfly. It's a nighttime butterfly. That's
You
what
got
it
a
is.
great eye for design. You really do.
Thank you.
So I used to, for a short time, I was printing. I'm gonna put the viewed stuff over here. You mind?
Yeah, go ahead for it.
For a short time, I was trying to silk screen T-shirts, and it was an uphill battle.
Do you
Silk
want me to put
screening
them
is
here?
not. Oh yeah, you want to throw them over there?
I was like, I think you're further away
Sorry,
from your
I'm, like,
chair over there.
doing acrobatics
Yeah.
around the technical stuff.
Yeah.
Ooh, white on black. Let's see what we got here. Anyway, let me finish my story. Sorry. I was trying to silk screen. First of all, I was burning my own screens under a light. You could never get the sharp lines like that.
Yeah.
Forget about it. And like the little details on this flower, that's very cool. What do you design on? What do you do the designs on?
You know what's crazy? So I started on Procreate.
Okay.
Because one of my friends was like, "Oh, have you heard of this thing?" Because I don't have like the fancy design software.
Right.
What I started, like the moth, for example, I actually hand drew that, and then I had someone turn it into a digital file for me because I didn't know how to do anything
Okay.
digitally. Like it's always been hand drawings. I would love to paint. I love to do that. And so then Procreate was like a very user friendly thing for me. To
Okay.
be able to still draw, obviously, kind of get the fundamentals of like you're layering, rasterizing. I can never say that word.
What is that?
Rasterizing an
The
image.
heck is that?
It's like a term where it's like you make the image like flatten it, I think, or something like that. I don't even quote me on that because I'm not well versed in this.
Okay.
All I know is sometimes I have to rasterize the image.
I can't even Google it because I don't know how to spell it.
Rasterize. I don't even. Somebody's gonna call at me. Somebody's like, she
Fair
doesn't
enough.
even know. She doesn't even go here.
She doesn't even- You got.
She doesn't even go here.
Well done. Well done.
Yeah.
Well done, Glen Coco.
Glen Coco. Yeah.
Holy cow,
So-
we were on the exact same page. You just got it out further.
And so, but yeah, I pretty much did everything on Procreate. That's what I still do. I love Procreate.
You made me snort just now. you hear
I'm
that?
I'm a snorter, so I'm a snorter.
This is so
like-
cool. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. This is awesome. I'm going to rock this everywhere.
I'm super excited. Honestly.
ShopRite, here we come.
Yes.
It's like the only place I go that's not work.
Listen, ShopRite. I see your ads all the time when I go to ShopRite.
Oh, yeah, we do have an ad in
I
ShopRite.
love that. I love that.
It actually, I got a call from it, first one. So this is how we justified it. It's just putting the brand in front of people. You're not necessarily going to get calls from it. Maybe
Right.
you're not. No one's going to solely call you from that. But they'll see that in ShopRite, and then they'll see an Instagram ad that
Yep.
you're boosting, and then they'll see your sticker somewhere. It's just like repetitive, like pushing. Now, if you're like Gold Metal, which is a huge plumbing company nationwide, or like Roto-Rooter,
Okay.
your brand is already everywhere. Like people are going to go to that. So it's difficult for a smaller guy to do that. So we're really just trying to push locally. That's why the podcast that we're doing is all local businesses. Keep it local. Keep it local. There's no point in trying to like do this grandiose thing. Like this is it. Bergen County is a huge area.
Yes, it is.
It's near. I would say New York is the hub of the world, and Bergen County is like it's like
a
bitter
close
little
second.
sister.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So. I mean, 201 magazine is a very read magazine. That's huge if you get in there.
Yeah.
But it's always just like seeing the brand. And this is actually a great transition to your social media, which I enjoy thoroughly. Very funny. And it's easy. I'm not going to say it's easy, but like T-shirts, something creative is easily marketable and transferable to social media.
Right.
Do you find that?
I do and I don't sometimes because it's interesting. It's like I think with social media and the trends, it's like you kind of just have to have like a creative outlook as to how to make it apply to what you're doing.
Yeah.
Because I even see so many creative people do trends for like restaurants or for like just like things that you wouldn't necessarily think like would be trending on social media, but they take these trends and they apply them to, you know, whatever niche, you know, audience would know about stuff like that. Like, you know, it's I think that's what's like really fun about these trends on social media is just seeing how people take them and niche them down to like their particular audience.
Yeah.
And that's just a very smart thing to do. I personally right now, just because I don't want to take the financial risk of doing paid ads, I'm doing all my growth organically, which is definitely like the snail glacial pace of things.
It sure is.
But you know, I am also trying to not burn out. So like realistically, it's like, you know, do you want to be like that overnight sensation where you have like, you know, sell out your store? But it's like, to be honest, like when you sell out and you have a lot of orders, like that means you're going to be up all night and you're going to be, you know, really putting in the hours and like working out, you know, working at that to like fulfill that now. And, you know, I am enjoying the gradual growth. You know, because I think with each step you learn how to do more.
It's the healthiest way.
Yeah.
I mean, when you skyrocket to something, I'm going to take the lottery for example. Most people who win the lottery, no problem. Most people who win the lottery, they're broke in like 2 years.
Yeah.
So when you skyrocket super fast, you don't have time to adapt to the levels that it brings you.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's why with Quartz, we're growing slowly. Like I've brought in a couple guys and they haven't worked out. I'm like, listen, you're really not going to work out. And then like we get to a point where, you know what, let's just stick with 2 people. Let's boost our numbers as much as we can and then take the next step once we are bursting at the seams at the level we're at.
Right.
And I mean, that's just my feeling. You have guys that'll open companies and there's like 20 trucks already on the road. Right. But
which I mean is definitely a route, and like it's not like I'm gonna shoo away success. You know, like I don't think anybody wants to like, you know, not, you know, blow up. But there is a kind of like what I try to do with like my messaging on social media or with everything. It's like it's very easy to get discouraged, like to compare yourself with somebody next to you. But it's like whatever pace you're at, like it could be like there's positives to that pace, you know, as in like there's things to learn and there's advantages to growing gradually and organically, and then there's also advantages obviously and disadvantages to blowing up overnight. But it's just the, you know, a lot of it is attitude and perspective, and so it's like just be grateful and like try to be grateful with whatever stage you're at, you know, because there's always somebody who has less. You know, there's always somebody who like burned out, quit, closed the business down. You know,
that is true.
So it's like a perspective game as well, which is hard because social media constantly tells you that you're behind and you're small and you're not doing enough and you're not successful enough, and it gets painful. Like to take those lashes every day and still be positive about it.
There's a meme. This may not be appropriate, but you know what? We're in the 3rd segment. If anyone's not really a fan, they're not watching anyway. There's this meme. It's like every time you wake up and go to work, just remember, like wake up and do your 9 to 5 and like struggle at your job. Just remember, there's some girl selling her farts in a can for like $50,000 a month. It's like, all right, well, I'm not willing to do that, so we'll just stick to the right way to do it.
Exactly, you know? Exactly. There's pros and cons to everything. You just kind of like,
100%.
But
I mean, so you have the social media down, obviously. So when you took this over, you said you've kind of played the whole gambit of different types of jobs.
Yes.
So without because I've had tons of different jobs. I've been in every industry, okay? you pick up little things, and then where you're at that point in life, you're like, oh, I can use this little tidbit of knowledge. So you started this clothing business. Did you jump in saying, okay, here's my numbers goal, here's what I need to do, or did you kind of did that grow organically?
That grew organically. I did not have a financial goal or structure that I wanted to keep up with. I just wanted to be sustainable and manageable. I wanted it to be able to find, and I'm still working it out to, be able to produce a good quality product.
Yeah.
But still obviously not for like a ridiculous price. Like, I
Right.
still want it to be, something that people can afford to purchase, but also something like I constantly try to think about that, like, well, how is this going to hold up in the wash? And like, is this something that, my goal is like, if I can see my garments in a thrift store one day and they're still looking good, you know what I'm saying? I feel like that's to me like a level of like
completed my
success.
purpose.
Yeah. Where it's like, it's not something that, will deteriorate and then not be
Quality.
Yeah, exactly.
Something that you won't get from a huge clothing company. You know what I mean? It's like it's got that personal touch.
Yeah, but it's definitely like I would say all of my financial decisions and I would say planning decisions is just from a point of risk assessment and like I want to be obviously bold, but right now I want like financial stability is more important. I want to be able obviously to cover my cost, to make some to continue to grow the business, and also make sure that I always have what I'm able to portion out for my donations. And so it is very difficult, kind of like, you're discussing earlier, like with regulation, with, just things that you see as a small business. Like my biggest cost is actually my paperwork to keep up my LLC, to keep up, all of my regulations, all my certifications, all my licenses, like all that. As like a one woman kind of show, it's like, it's kind of crazy to me that it is at that price,
Yeah.
Like that's just very expensive, and so it's very difficult without borrowing money and maybe putting yourself a little bit at risk. It's very difficult to jump into like the next like level,
right.
And that's where I notice like a lot of people have to kind of get to a place where like, okay, is this the time where I'm just going to borrow a good chunk and see where that's going to take me? But obviously that
like
comes
a gamble.
with it comes with a lot of risk.
There's no recourse if we fail.
Right.
There is no recourse. If you're not on your game and like I'm tripping over my words now. You don't have this massive booming clothing company, but you're working toward that and you're at a grassroots level. But even at the level you're at, I'm sure you lose sleep, you get worried. You have to constantly research products. You have to make sure that your products are going in. It's stressful for even just a small operation that you're doing. And if you're not on your game, that could fail. Yeah. And there is no recourse for us. There's no recourse for me and Max as a small business. Right. There's no, it's hard to get a loan as a small business. The smaller you are, they're not going to do that for you. Mm-hmm. For the bigger guys, no problem. All their bases are covered. Right. But where we're at, this is how you create wealth in a nation and in an economy. And for some reason, the people that run this nation don't understand that on both sides of the aisle. Let me be clear on that, Yeah. But you have, I think, I like the fact that you said that you can blow up, but you're not, you're pushing for the organic. You're trying to grow slowly so you don't outgrow your boots too soon. Right. I think that's huge.
Yeah. I mean, it's whatever happens. Yeah. But, and even in the negative too, like if I try not to be too, like, that's not my goal, but obviously like I if something does happen where I have to close the business, and it is what it is unfortunate, but in that sense I kind of take it both ways, you know. But it is like, I remember, it's so true, it's like with entrepreneurs, small businesses, it's like just keep going. Yeah. Like they're like, what's the secret? What's the biggest, big tip? It's like, it's literally that. It's like, even when you really feel like you don't want to keep going, just keep going. Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming, because it's really that, like, you start seeing what an underdog you are, and how like at such a disadvantage compared to other businesses you are at, that it really makes you discouraged. Like you really want to just be like, well, what is the point? Like how, like if I don't have this overnight success or like some sort of like miracle moment, I might just go under, just like so many people have to.
But you can't focus on that.
You can't.
That's your downfall.
Right.
And I'm going to give this analogy for that. 'Cause I'm a snowboarder, okay? I love to snowboard. The second you overthink the jump instead of just soaring over the jump and taking the angle and then letting the momentum of your body rest on the ground so you continue to go, the second you overanalyze it, done.
Yeah.
Face plant, head on the rail, like that's it. But if you get to the top of that mountain and you look down and you're like, I know how to do this. I'm going to take every corner as it is, look ahead and do this. I'm not going to overthink it. I know where my body needs to go, and I'm going to do that, and I'm going to let momentum take me the rest of the way.
Yep.
And you get down to the bottom of the mountain. I mean, I'm not as deep as you. I'm sorry.
No, but honestly, that's very on point. It really is. Like I think that's the more explained version of just keep going. Where it's like you have to like don't, because if you think about it, a lot of times when people start small businesses, it doesn't make sense. People are like, why would you work so many hours? Why would you sacrifice so much? Why would you? There's a large potential of failing. Why do you keep going? And it's like you said, it's like you kind of have to like stop thinking about it and just not maybe perhaps fake it till you make it, but like you're like, listen, I can ride this mountain. I'm gonna make it to the bottom, and just have that perspective. And that's really what makes you wake up the next day and just, I'm gonna keep going.
100%.
And so
it's not easy.
No.
You ask Max, he sees me on my worst.
Yeah.
This kid is, I don't know why he's still here. It's beyond me. I just don't. I don't.
He's like, I see myself at the bottom of the mountain. He's like, I can't. He's out here faking until he makes it, I guess, too. He's just kind of like, listen, this is gonna be great.
Right.
At the end, it's gonna be great.
Yeah. So what's the long-term goal with Busca La Luz?
The long-term goal is, I hope to, my only one goal is like, I would love to grow large enough to have someone work with me, to have a max.
You can take them. The bidding starts at 500.
That's hilarious. Ooh, 500. I don't know when the government's going to come for me.
Pesos.
Pesos.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're not running those American dollars on Max yet.
Absolutely not. Offshore accounts.
Yeah, that's it.
My money's.
And it ties into it.
Yeah. And all full circle.
Yeah.
But like obviously is to, I would love to grow. I would love to just be able to donate as much as I can. I just want to be able to grow that donation and like say like, hey, we're up this much and we're doing, this much for the community. And even that, like, I love when people tell me that they love my social medias, because yes, I produce sweatshirts and I love that, but I also want to grow my community, and I hope I make an impact in that way too, where I'm glad that people are like, wow, I go to your feed because I am encouraged, or I go to your feed because I know it'll be funny, or I go to your feed because, you'll share an idea or an opinion that like, encourages me. And so it's like, and now I just started doing this new thing where if you subscribe to my email list, it's called the Feel Better newsletter.
Okay.
And so it's like a little bit of happiness in your inbox.
Okay.
And so I'll just drop, like this week was kind of like having perspective during this like crazy busy holiday season, and it's like just practical ways for how you can be better, feel better, and then ultimately do better.
How often do you put out that newsletter?
I try to do them at least twice a month.
Okay.
I would love to do it like maybe once a week, but
once
obviously
a week is a lot.
As a Wonder Woman show, it's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot.
But yeah, right now they're out twice a month, and so but yeah, it's just kind of like just so like not everything in your inbox has to be negative.
Exactly. Or spam.
Yeah. So people have really been enjoying that, and that makes me really happy. But it's kind of like how to be a good friend, or how to communicate to somebody that's sad, or like The
one thing that I'm mesmerized at is through this whole conversation, it's not like fraudulent at all, because you keep going back. I want to be like, the long-term goal is to be able to donate as much as I can, to be able to like spread goodness, good vibes as much as I can. As cheesy and cliche as that is, like, you've been through it.
Yeah.
You're now on the uptick of the other side, and just speaking to you this whole time, like, giving back is top of the list. Like, it's that's something that you're not going to compromise on.
Yeah.
It's so genuine.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I don't mean to make you uncomfortable.
No, I appreciate that.
I mean, I'm super happy you came on. You put out a great product. You have great social media. You have an incredible story.
Thank you.
And I think a lot of people who are going to watch are going to be able to kind of like see themselves in what they've gone through. Like it's a huge encouragement because from where you were day one when you found out that you had breast cancer to now, you know, a lot of people have a hard time revisiting that first time.
Right.
You know?
Right.
But talking to you, like, you have a heart for people who are hitting that first time.
Right.
And about to open that next chapter.
Yeah.
I think it's incredibly inspiring.
Yeah. And like everybody, I think I heard something kind of like we all laugh in the same language. We all cry in the same language. Like it's something like feelings and the way people have good or bad moments is just it like translates so easily and like really connects a lot of us. And, you know, unfortunately, it's not if something bad is going to happen, it's like we have highs and lows regularly. Yeah. And it's not about, the big C. It's like, it could, you know, I don't put value or priority or like weight to like one person's struggle versus another. And that's why I say it's like we are all going to go through difficult times, those moments of darkness, those moments of feeling like you're alone. And so it's like, that's why as small or as large as it is, you know, it's valid. Yeah. And then also, as small or as large as your positivity can really, like, you have no idea how that can affect somebody else and how you can like really pick somebody else while they're going through a difficult time.
I would love you for you to plug the charities that you donate again.
Triple Negative Breast Cancer Foundation.
Negative Breast Cancer.
Yeah, TNBC Foundation.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you said they're in Jersey.
They're in Jersey.
Okay.
Yeah, they're in, because I'm like the worst person ever. I can't remember.
Okay.
I can't remember.
Somewhere
but they're right here in Jersey. They're like not too far. Franklin Lakes, is it? No.
Out down 208?
I think so.
Franklin Lakes is down there.
Is that? Well, I'm like.
You can Google it real quick. It's okay.
Let's Google it real quick.
See where. Let's see
like,
where.
Let's see if my.
While you're doing that, we're gonna push your Instagram.
Okay.
At Busca La Luz.
Yeah, it's on Instagram. It's busca.la.luz.
Okay.
And then on TikTok, it's busca_la_luz.
How do you? Are you getting results from TikTok? I post on TikTok a lot. Like I'll get like 10,000 views on one video and 4 on another.
Yep.
It's weird.
Yeah.
I'm trying to lock down the times on when you should post.
Yeah. So, oh my gosh, I can go down a whole rabbit hole of that stuff because, you know.
We may have to say that for the next
strategy,
show.
Yeah. Strategy, social media strategy is such a thing. But Instagram makes you work for your achievements. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like that, you know, like you're just like trying to like be like, oh my gosh, look at me. And it's like, you know, it's like, I can't stand you. Like I've worked so hard for like my 900 plus followers on Instagram. Right. And on TikTok, it's like, I think I'm at like 11.4 thousand followers on TikTok. And what I've realized is successful is like, I've tried to niche both. So like on Instagram, it's more of like you get to know me. It's small business. It's like, you know, encouragement, positive, you know, messaging. And then my TikTok is more like small business. These are my how-tos, my tricks, like, you know,
it is
informational.
A different environment.
It is. It's like you can also have like very personalized, successful TikTok accounts. But that's what I've noticed is like once you go viral for something, it's pretty much like you're pigeonholed in that.
Yeah, I know.
That's like literally what I've discovered. I could be wrong, but
no, it is true. Those kids who go viral for one video, they
like
end up having to make the same video over and over again.
You literally
like that howling dog.
Yep. Exactly. And so the video that went off for me on TikTok was a pressing video. And so then that's kind of what morphed and just like turned that entire page into that. So it's like a very much like if you are interested in starting a small business or like here's, you know, how it goes. And I've had some success. Like I've had brands reach out to me and I'm doing like affiliate links and like pressing companies or like equipment, things like that. And so
good for you.
Thank you. So trying to learn more about that, like doing partnerships. So just got, you know, reached out by another transfer company. And so pretty much like I do these how-to videos and if their products are good, I recommend and people can shop through my links.
Wow. Okay. So I'm going to post everything. So you're going to make sure I have everything.
Yeah.
And make sure I spell it right.
Yeah.
I'll send it to you to proofread for sure.
Okay. Yeah.
But, again, thanks for coming on. This was great. This is a great conversation. I kind of needed this. I needed some positivity.
Aww.
The winter's tough for plumbers. It really is.
I bet. Yeah.
It sucks for plumbers.
I bet.
I mean, we have the dogs that ride around in the middle of us that give us a little bit of joy, but
yeah, which I love them on social media. I love them on
they're
social
big sellers on social media. But listen, I appreciate you coming on. Again, she's got really high quality stuff. Naomi is making some really, really cool stuff with some really cool designs, and it has a purpose. So I'm going to post all her social medias. You guys are going to go to it. You're going to buy her stuff. You're going to like her and follow her on social media. And we're going to get you to take off.
Yay!
Because the more you take off, the more beneficial it is to people who are suffering with cancer and stuff, because I think that's amazing.
Oh, thank you.
But thanks again for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
No problem.
I feel very
Anytime.
humbled.
We'll do it. We got to do a redo.
Oh my
okay?
goodness.
We have to see your spring line.
Okay. And yeah, I'll try to be more like spicy or something, you know? Like,
No problem. We'll have tacos. I'll bring tacos or
there
something.
you go.
Folks, thanks again for watching. I just want to remind you to like, share, subscribe. We have a lot of good content coming up. We have a lot of really cool guests coming on, so please stay tuned for that. But again, like, share, subscribe. That's our bread and butter. The more you share, the more people see, the more you get the word out on this awesome quality content coming from two raggedy plumbers in the basement in River Edge. But folks, check us out here next week. We'll have another show for you, and thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.